So let's talk about trends for 2024. Looking back on 2023 and what we've seen, and the things that you and I have done and our peers and colleagues in, I guess, the world of change, consultancy, coaching have been dealing with. A lot of what I'm seeing and what I've done, which I think is going to influence next year, is how people feel, the emotion around delivering change and the sense of coming together to be united behind a plan. I think the first point for me is that there needs to be a better balance between tech and the tech-enabled world and the people who build and use it. It feels like tech is really taking the centre stage, and rightly so. However, I think we need to spend more time acknowledging that if we understand how people are going to use it and that they've got the time to understand it and develop around it, and that we're getting feedback around all of that, then that'll make things more successful and the organisations who are building or delivering it more successful. But importantly, and equally to that, is the need for customer obsession and customers still feeling like customers in a tech age. So customer experience is a hugely important thing, but I think the conversation still leads towards the technology to drive customer experience rather than what the customer is telling us what we need, and we're delivering tech against that.
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, it might be useful to have an example here because just as you were talking, I was just thinking about certain experiences I've had as being a customer where when I'm thinking of buying a new product or service, an organisation can't do enough for me. They're all over me. Yes, offers, setting everything up and ringing me all the time, just, really
Are you going to buy
courting
this
me.
now,
Are you going to
Catherine?
buy this?
Yeah.
And then I buy it, and then something goes wrong and I can't get through to them. I can't find a telephone number on the website. All there is the chat bot, which I keep putting in the question. Nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm so frustrated.
Yeah.
And tech has become the barrier to me actually enjoying the product or the service that I have chosen to buy.
Yeah.
And then, then the whole experience is tainted. And that's happening again and again and again. And this is where I feel, organizations are using technology to drive efficiencies in those processes, but it feels manipulative.
Yeah.
Because, when they want me to have human interaction to sell to me,
Yeah.
they're giving me it. But when it comes to their bit of the service or product, if it's gone wrong, they don't want
It
to
fails you,
afford
it
me.
lets you down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that then makes me feel really fed up.
And then I guess you just go to the next
Competition.
brand.
Yeah, which often is just as
Yeah,
bad.
but then you follow the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you spend your human condition is so annoyed and frustrated, and it seems like such a missed opportunity.
I think that for me is if you get that right. So you build the product, and we talk about building products and services with the customer in mind, but you maintain and evolve those products and services with the customer in mind. And that builds brand sentiment, customer sentiment. You build a longevity in that customer relationship. And that's what it comes down to. Again, we talk about feelings and emotions attached to it. If you got that response quicker, if you got that human interaction to you can't find your answer and therefore you get what you need, then the likelihood is you'll stay loyal to that brand or service, that product or service. But you're not getting that now because I guess the feeling is tech saves the time, but it doesn't give you what you need as a user. What about where that then falls into building company culture? So people have built the technology that they think that is serving the customer or the end user, but then down the line the feedback is it's not working for me. How do you think an employee feels about that?
Oh, completely fed up. I mean, I've got an example in my head.
Go for it.
So my dad passed away just over a year ago, and I had to obviously ring various organisations to let them know that he was going to close his account. And you get some people who were very sympathetic and helpful and would make it happen. And then there was one or two organisations that were literally like, well, oh, we can't speak to you until you've given us this, this, and this. And when you've given them this, we went through this loop of crazy, crazy sort of examples of, oh, well, we can't do that, or we're not interested in that because your father's deceased now. And I'm trying to give them feedback. And we were in this, when you're in a vicious circle and they want you to do something, but you can't do it because something's, and the person on the end of the phone was just like, oh, well, I'm sorry, that's the organisational procedure. Can't do anything about it. And they just kept saying that. And I was like, can I not speak to
you get locked
your
in a
manager?
procedural loop,
And they were just like, no, you can't. We won't let you speak to the manager.
Yeah.
And it was so frustrating. And he was really frustrated as well.
That they couldn't give you what you needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I don't want to, I don't want to be saying this to you, but I have to, because this is what the organisation's told me I have to say to you.
So I think this is the point then, isn't it? And it, unfortunately, the computer says no.
Yes.
Is becoming more of a prominent conversation between customers and the company that's serving those customers, because has the technology got too complex that even the users within an organisation are finding it too difficult, and it's proving to add more barriers to a customer journey or a user journey than it is, or than it should be.
But they don't even feel they have the autonomy or responsibility to take something and say, we need to find a fix for this. So I'm going to take it away and I'm going to speak to my manager, or I'm going to, ring you back. It's literally just a no. I've been told I can't do anything, so we're just going to have to sit in this.
Yeah.
And that back to your question about how do we learn from failure and how do we allow people to solve problems and give them agency to solve problems. If that person had been given the responsibility for, if you notice something that could be improved or fixed, just get on with it and, come with a solution, he would have done that.
Yeah.
But he didn't fit. So the culture didn't enable that.
Yeah. So let's go back to those trends. So we're talking about how customers and colleagues feel and the emotion behind the work that they're doing, and how that allows them to show up. The balance between the tech-enabled world and the people who are building the tech, I guess, means better alignment. The need for customer obsession, so customers still feel like customers, is becoming more important, especially when tech seems to be the primary driver in the conversations that we're having. That then leads on to company culture and creating the right company culture that sets people up for success. When people deliver the plan and understand why they're delivering a plan, they'll build the right products and services. They'll unite that behind vision and outcomes. And then that hopefully builds good brand custodianship. But there's a bit of just slowing down to speed up.
Yep.
Sitting back in the reflection of what we've learned in order to build the next stage of that plan and make sure that that plan's really considered.
Yes.
Is there anything else?
I think there's something about the mindset as well of everybody in an organisation, which needs to be, we are in this together. It's not an us and them kind of thing. If we feel that we're sitting alongside someone and we're solving problems with them rather than, with, oh, somebody's coming asking me for something and I'm just going to have to say no because I can't cope with any more. It's how might I be a bit curious about what they want and how might we together solve it.
Yeah.
I think that mindset is so important. So try to resist the us and them kind of thinking.
Yeah. So, Catherine, it feels like there's an imbalance at the moment between the harmony of people, tech, and there's some tension showing between businesses and the society that we work in. I think some of the key things that are going to come out in next year, particularly around culture and leadership, are the obsession with customer experience, the influence of AI, the stagnation of creativity,
Yeah.
The balance between tech benefits and the burden of tech, and then people's life goals are changing because of the society that we're now
Yeah.
part of. You know, okay, goals and people's own outcomes that they want to achieve are a little bit different now. What are they showing up to work for and why?
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be more balance of understanding, I guess, some very complex issues of people and how they show up to work, given their personal ambition as well.
Yes. Yeah. And so that means that leaders of organisations need to be more attuned to that and actively having conversations with each individual to understand what's driving that individual, what they're interested in, what they're focusing on, and also what their aspirations are, as well as the strengths that they can bring to the team. But it's also on the individuals to know themselves and be deliberately thinking about, how am I going to find meaning in my work every day? How am I going to find the right sort of trade offs in my life? You know, people talk about work life balance. I don't believe there is necessarily a balance. I just think you've got to be realistic. You know, if you spend more time at work, it means that you have less time at home,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, or more time in the car, or what, you know, whatever it is.
Being
So
in control of that.
absolutely. So individuals all have a responsibility to make the choices for themselves,
Yeah.
and be able to clearly articulate it. And leaders of organisations have to listen and actively have those conversations.
How do you create that feedback loop? Just what is the right way to engage with with teams and create the feedback loop where people can feel that they can speak honestly and openly?
So people know, don't they, at a very human level, people can sense whether somebody is interested and actually genuinely wants to know what somebody wants from their life at work and more generally, and also whether they take action on that. Because again, one of the things that I see is a lot of people talk a good game and they say, oh yes, they're interested and they listen to all of this, but then in one breath they're saying, oh yeah, it's fine, you can always leave at 5 because I know you've got to get back. And then the next time it's like, well, we've got this urgent piece of work that's coming, so you're gonna have to stay in the office until 9 o'clock tonight. So people hear one thing and they see something and experience something else, and there's got to be a congruence because you've broken the trust
Yeah.
otherwise.